person could go to the holiest place on earth, but if they lack depth and perspective, they will not be able to see God's presence, the holiness, the sanctity, the meaning. It will not strike them. So if you come in here and you want cheap, commercial, superficial, run-of-the-mill NYC plastic industrial chic, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get it. It's going to bounce right off your calloused soul. But if you have a sensitive heart, if you are mindful and you come in and it hits you, it hits people also, people who are in a state of difficulty. They come in, and I've been told this many times, that it's been a sanctuary for them to visit.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, whenever this podcast finds you. I'm your host, Andrew Tremendous Jones, here with the Round Tabletop Podcast. We have a special, dignified guest all the way from New York. Randy, how you doing?
Hey, Andrew. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. I
So,
appreciate it.
Before we jumped on, you were telling me a bit about what it is that you guys do over there in New York with the historic Blue Moon Hotel.
Blue Moon.
You care just to let our guests know more in depth what it is that you do and who it is that you guys serve.
New York is a city with 400 and umpteen industrial chic hotels. There's only one Blue Moon. First of all, we're on the coolest street in America. We're on Orchard Street. It's not my say-so. It's Time Out in the New York Post. And it's also ranked number 9 in the world. And the coolest business on the coolest street is my hotel, for multiple reasons. One, it's an 1879 building, but it's a new building because I ripped everything out. I ran stale through the building. I went 3 stories up, and I sanctified all the historical details from the original building. For my efforts, I received 40 to 50 major articles unsolicited, only based on the merits of the property. NYT, LAT, Toronto Star, International Herald Tribune, Bloomberg. As far as awards, the most prestigious award is probably National Geographic, which said we're one of 150 in the Western Hemisphere to check into.
Wow.
We're also in the book Best 100 Little Hotels. And we were interviewed by Sino TV, the largest in China, who found 4 hotels that they wanted, the quintessential places in NYC. First was Waldorf, Trump, Plaza, and guess who number 4 was?
Wow. That is an honor. That is an honor. Wow. What inspired you to pursue your current path, and how's your guys' vision evolved along the way?
Just the antithesis of NYC hotelier. I'm not a bean counter. I do everything by creativity. I'm a painter, I'm an artist, I'm a writer, and I'm published. This was a 5-year art preservation design project. Everything for me has to have meaning. If it doesn't have meaning, it's like spitting in the wind. It has no purpose for me. But if it has meaning, it becomes the concrete of my action, and I can work forward from that direction. So I have a lot of history here, and it has a lot to do with how I went about envisioning the project, the building, which was a 5-story tenement. And it was a little like Michelangelo seeing the angel and the marble before he created it.
Oh, wow. Amazing. A clear vision.
Clear vision. I said, this building, I'm going to commemorate Lower East Side history, and I will make it into a stately hotel. So I made her a little old lady, tall, young, and gorgeous when she wasn't too pretty to begin with.
Mm. What's the average customer experience like
That depends on the person. That
on
depends
the
on the person.
person?
I cannot tell you a person could go to the holiest place on earth, but if they lack depth and perspective, they will not be able to see God's presence, the holiness, the sanctity, the meaning. It will not strike them. So if you come in here and you don't know it's a Trump Loy masterpiece, Trump Loy means um, fooling of the eye, that it's a new building, which I gave a skin from the original building to make it look historic, and
Mm.
you want cheap, commercial, superficial, run of the mill NYC plastic industrial chic, you're not
Right,
going to
right,
get
right.
it. You're not going to get it. It's going to bounce right off your calloused soul. But if you have a sensitive heart, if you are mindful and you come in and it hits you, it hits people also, people who are in uh, a state of difficulty. They come in, and I've been told this many times that it's been a sanctuary for them to visit.
Wow.
Mhm.
Let me ask you, what what habits separate people who just talk about success from people who actually earn it in your experience?
So I don't, oddly enough, I grew up, we moved 10 times growing up. My father was disabled when I was just 1 years old.
Mhm.
And there were times where I was not an immigrant. And my family's the 1890s on the Italian side. And they came here. And actually, my great grandfather, before the Depression, was very wealthy. He built most of Brooklyn. But as life turns and things happen, people lose, you know,
Mhm.
can lose you can lose everything you have, and that happened to him. So my father uh lost his father, and he was in an orphanage, and then he was disabled because of the kind of business that the Italian Americans were in. If you weren't running the construction and protecting your own people, you were fodder for the bigger machine. And actually, there's a movie that talks about it. It's called Christ and Concrete. So my grandfather and my father went through that. And so by the time I came around, it was difficult. And so there were times, you just had and you didn't have. You had to learn to get by. But I always worked hard, but my intention was never about having more. It was always about being more. And so at the same time I worked hard and tried to make a living, I also tried to develop myself.
Mhm.
And so this everything so when about this project, it was the same thing. I could have ripped everything out, did a 6-month job, did a conversion, white box, made more money, flipped it, and went on and on and on. But when my mind is that when I do something, I put a little bit of myself in it,
Mm.
you know, whether it's an inanimate object and how much
Right,
more so my own children. So this project took me 5 years. That's a long time to build in a very unforgiving city.
right. New York is unforgiving. Most definitely.
Yeah, so everything in this building has my signature on it. If we had time, I would walk you through. I would show you. I have my restaurant area has a gallery,
Mm.
and there are
What kind of
collages
paintings?
of my paintings throughout, and there are 70 and there are 14 collages that I made from the personal effects of the people who live in the building. Because those apartments, before I started working on them, were time capsules, and they were closed for 70 years. So I collected all the personal effects and things that I found from the merchants that were in the building, and I made 14 themed collages.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's impressive. You talked about, the books that you have authored. Tell me a bit of.
I'm working on 3 books now. One I have, it's virtually finished. I had to pull it back because the manuscript needed a little more tightening and it was rushed out. And that's called Between the Altar and the Sanctuary. The other one is The 12 Apostles of Zion. And the one that I started first, what will probably be last, is called Redemption in Tennessee.
Okay. Between the alternate sanctuary, that's snap worthy. That sounds
Thank you.
amazing. What is
I
that
think that's about the 1970s, a time of great resistance. It's the life and the story of a radical Jew named Rabbi Meir Kahane
about?
that was very iconic and was a man who I would say woke up in the morning, went to sleep at night, thinking how God relates to him and his destiny. And he did everything in his power to save lives and to free captives and to address bourgeois establishment, putting them on notice like a prophet of Israel to take care of the people and not to be self-serving.
Mm,
And he
I
did it on
see.
2 continents, and he was probably arrested over 100 times.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, right. And he's a man I met as a child, and I had the pleasure as a teenager going out to dinner with him and a group of
Wow.
people. So that's that. Yeah, the 12 Apostles of Zion is about people who are involved in a very integral way in seeing that Western civilization prospers, moves forward, and preventing the darkness that's encroaching from parts of the world that have views that are inimical to the Judeo-Christian outlook.
I see. I see.
Yeah, and the last one in Tennessee, I was very moved by a reporter heard that in Tennessee they made a month of fasting and prayer for the problems that plague them, and it hit me emotionally like a punch. And
Wow.
I thought of Jonah and Nineveh. So,
Hmm.
yeah. So your program is about finance and money and big business. So, um, for me, I don't separate God and business.
It's hand in hand.
You're not. What kind of you know what kind of authenticity can your faith have?
Exactly. Right. No one can replace, and that goes into my other question here. I have a friend in Vietnam right now, and I'm seeing videos of you go inside a hotel out in some parts of Asia, and the concierge is AI robots. Where do you see the future of the hotel industry going over the next 5 to 10 years? And what are you guys doing to stay ahead of the curve?
Well, I'm all for progress. I love that, we're moving on. I think there's not to get too deep, but Hegel has a philosophy that there's a teleology that everything in the end will make sense. And for us to live the lives of who we really are, which so few of us do know, is that we're spiritual beings having a physical experience. And to live
Absolutely.
that, we have to advance. Our minds have to advance. We have to understand that our strength, our mental capacity, our finances are meaningless.
Hmm.
You know,
Man,
a machine can outdo you any day of the week and
right.
figure out how to make money better than you too. So,
Right.
this is kind of like I think what God is saying. And aside from that, we can move forward with technology. But this hotel and what it represents is that everything in this building was touched by another human being. And we have advanced technologically, but we have sold our humanity out.
What do you mean
And
by that? You have someone here, man.
It means that we the level of social interaction has been diminished. People are fixated on their phones. They lack um, they lack social grace. When I was a kid, my brother used to shine shoes to make a living, make money.
Wow,
I'm working since 9 to feed help feed my birth family. I, yes, sir. How are you? Nice to meet you. I'm working
imagine.
also as salesperson before I was a teenager,
Wow.
and there's such a thing as social intelligence. I have 6 kids. My parents were tremendously personal. I'm very personal, but I see, as wonderful as they are, some of them have a lapse between where they should be as far as dealing with people or knowing people or being gregarious or being out there and loving and warm. And it's kind of dulled. They're missing it a little bit. Not all of them, but some of them and a little bit, as much as that was a priority in my home. But I find when I go into a store, they don't even look up. They don't, they look, they're on their phone. They're hiding from taking care of people harder than it would be for them to do the job they're paid to do. And so there is this lapse in being warm and open and useful and just sensing that another human being is in a room with you.
Hmm.
We're coming within your four cubits,
Right, right, right.
you know?
I interviewed Harry Rosen, who's a major fashion icon here in Toronto. He's on the third generation of his store right now. Um, how important is legacy to you?
My legacy for me, I love this hotel. I have put my all my professional assets, finances, my own 2 hands got on the floor. I put the mosaics together.
Right.
Did all my own finishing. Did faux finishes.
Wow.
Um, the hotel represents something that no other hotel represents, and has been really valuable to the community on multiple levels. But my legacy ultimately is the children that I have. Did
Hmm.
I make children that will pollute the world? Or did I make children that will make this world a better place? Did I
Yes.
make children that are going to advance society? Did I make children that are going to be stagnant and have a retrograde force on the people around them? The
Hmm.
ultimate legacy for me is not money, is not property. It's it's what you leave behind to make that bridge between your ancestors and the future. What you corrected from the past, the present, and how they'll continue to transmit those values.
Amen to that. And lastly, here, what advice would you give to an aspiring entrepreneur looking to maybe get into what you do? What would you tell to a young entrepreneur today in 2025?
It's very hard for me to say that because what I do is so genuine and authentic that it's not always cost effective. But I follow my heart and my soul. And what I get from that is very different than might be the bottom line for other people. What I get from that is, the sensibility that when you work through difficult times and you grow and the advancement that you get, um, surpasses any amount of money you can make. And I was fortunate because we crashed during the COVID era. We were forcibly closed 18 months. We're not a hedge fund. We're not a monopoly. We're probably one of the last family-run businesses, and especially one that was self-start. And we were totally destroyed. Everyone was coming after you like you caused COVID. The insurance company wouldn't pay squat. The city
Wow.
wanted the taxes. The lender was coming after us like Snidely Whiplash. You're
Wow.
Canadian, you can relate to that.
Yes.
But there was no Dudley Do Right, you know?
Wow.
Um,
You guys
Before
have
the
grit.
COVID, people told me I was responsible for the economic redevelopment south of Orchard Street.
Oh man. Okay.
Um, all the city officials came down and patted me on the back. But when COVID hit, you're on your own. You don't have space big enough for us to use for a shelter, for whatever we want, you know. We don't know you because you weren't washing our hands before, and you don't have money to wash our hands now. So no matter what you did, you could just wither and die. And we really were. And I was at the point where it sounds insane, but we didn't have food in our house.
Wow.
And for the first time since my childhood, I had to turn around and say, you know, we're gonna have to ask for help.
No, no, no. I see. I see.
And that was a lesson too, because God wants you to know how to take and give.
Mm-hmm.
And that
Yeah,
was very hard
amazing.
for me, especially considering my childhood. I did it, but the lesson we got out of this is now my children were grown, and those 18 months we spent putting the building back together again from scratch. I had the muscle memory, and we just my boys were big. We pulled out all the rugs, we put down new floors, we re-sweat all the lines, we reflashed the roof 90 feet in the air. Yeah, we made the building all over again like it was new, all during those 18 months.
Right.
And so by the time we reopened, um, the building, the rooms were again like apartments, and this time they had kitchenettes, which
Oh
no
wow.
hotel has. And we redid the floors on the terraces, Italian immigrant style, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And so we just made apartments out of all our rooms, which are rooms already, but they didn't have full. Now I have kitchenettes with induction plates and china and deep sinks, and our rooms have tubs. All these things are white elephants for
Mm-hmm.
NYC. But the biggest thing that we have is terraces.
Okay.
More than half our rooms have terraces, some as large as 300 square feet. And 7/8 floor front, you own New York City. You see every iconic building:
Wow.
Empire State Building, Chrysler Building, Pendant's Tower, and a peek of the bridges. Yeah, I'm in a room now. I don't know if I could
Okay.
flip this up a little, but
Yeah, you try to.
you see, it's a 15-foot high cathedral ceiling.
Okay, okay. Floor to ceiling. Okay.
I don't know if it's kind of, can you give him a little bit of the view?
Yeah, I could see that. Oh,
That's just from indoors. But we have a little terrace here.
so, okay, interesting. Wow.
This terrace is 50 feet. The one below it is 26 and a half wide by 5 foot deep. It's like an indoor terrace.
How many rooms do you guys have?
We only have 22, but they are literally the biggest and best rooms in NYC. Somebody just did a theme song for us. Maybe you'll send it to Andrew.
Yes, most definitely. I could likely add it. That is amazing.
Yeah, it's original music. It's beautiful.
That is
Yeah,
fantastic.
and he did it out of love of the project, and he says, and they are the biggest and best rooms in NYC. But Lower East Side is the place to come anyway if you come to New York City, because you don't want to be in Midtown. No real New Yorker wants to be in Midtown
Why is that?
because it's crowded, it's touristy, it's
Okay.
not pleasant. What I love about here, and probably why they call it the coolest street in America, is that it's the last real neighborhood. And I'm the child of Orchard and Grand, because
So when
I
I said,
have.
sorry, when I hear you say last real neighborhood, I'm thinking gentrification. Are you saying that it hasn't gone through any crazy changes or?
Can I say it's gone? Not well. I'm here. I'm an institution. I'm here way many years,
Okay.
and so I still remember when there were Italians in Little Italy and Jews on Orchard Street when I was a kid. That was the big thing here. There was over 2 million Jews came through the United States. They came along this street all the way up to all the way up the East Side. The hundreds of thousands of Italians came in all the way through Grand Street, Elizabeth Street, Mott Street, and each one quarter in a different province in Italy. And so, this is old New York. This is what this area is about. Now, everybody's from Idaho and Kansas and
I see, I
Utah
see.
and Minnesota and the Jamaicans we have, they here already. They got some history. They got some skin in the game now. They've been in here
Yeah.
for about, been in the NYC for about 40, 50 years, some of them.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
And, settling in Crown Heights and different areas that
Yeah.
became landmarks to them.
What kind of guests do you guys attract? Like, I'm assuming, like you said, you sanctified every floor. Like, what kind of guests do you guys attract?
The guest I appreciate most is one who's done their research, that's seen our Instagrams,
I see, I
that's
see.
read our articles, that know where they're coming. Um, I try to be around the lobby a lot, and I try to educate guests when they come in, and all of a sudden their eyes open and they can't believe they're having an experience because you would pay any money for an experience.
Right.
And so the experience they're having here is invaluable. And they sometimes are just getting it incidentally. It's
And
their
so
good
what's your
fortune.
intent of what is your intent for the experience? I know in the visual experience may differ, but what kind of experience are you guys trying to create?
The experience is here. The experience is according to you, according to, your capacity to appreciate the
Okay.
transformation, the history, the art, the culture, the sensibility of being in a place that respects human craftsmanship, workmanship. The whole project is the most wholesome hotel in NYC. It sounds like an oxymoron, but it's true. The collages, when you look at them, you feel like you're stepping back in time and you learn more from that than you can from a visit to a museum.
Of course, of course.
And you could feel um, the amount of skill and how people would apprentice to make a newspaper where the color is like it's hand painted, and you would see how people struggle to a time of scarcity by having to go to the pawn shop to pay their rent or to buy food because you either sank or swam, and nobody was coming to your rescue in the 1920s and 30s.
I see, I see. Most definitely. Okay. Listen, Randy, we talked shop for a bit. I learned a lot. Our guests have learned a lot. I kind of want to switch gears. This portion, I like to have fun. We call this the lightning round. This is where I
All right.
ask you, I hit you with some fire rapid questions just to get to know you, to see how you do. Okay.
Sounds great.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Cats or dogs?
Hugs.
Uh, what's your favorite quote or phrase you think about often?
I play the music, but it's God who writes
I say.
the music, the notes. It's Bach wrote that, said that. It's about how God works to you like a conduit.
Favorite book?
The Emperor's Handbook by Marcus Aurelius.
I trust you, so I'm gonna. Sorry, repeat that.
The
What's
Emperor's
the what?
Handbook by Marcus Aurelius, translation by David and Scott Hicks.
Okay. Marcus Israeli. Was he a Holocaust survivor?
No, he was the
No?
emperor of Rome at the height of its
Okay,
power.
I'm confusing him with someone else then.
Viktor Frankl, maybe. That's you
Okay,
thinking.
w
Man search for
yeah, yeah,
meaning.
mad search for me yeah, funny. So, what's a bucket list item that you have already accomplished?
A bucket list item that I have accomplished?
Yes.
Bucket list item. You mean as far as a place to visit?
Yeah, let's say, so like, something that you always wanted to do, and you got to do it.
Right. So visit the Holy Land.
Oh, what was that like?
It was spectacular. I've done it many times. It's something I did and would like to do over and over again.
What is something that you haven't done yet that you would like to do?
I would like to I would like to build a foundation that brings redemption for people in a physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional way.
Redemption. I love I love redemption. Like even people who are going through the worst thing and people condemn them. It's like redemption exists, right? And we should offer
It's,
grace to those that people, even on the main stage, criticize. Redemption is
well,
powerful.
yes, um, we have a forgiving God, and it can be part of the spiritual process, right? There's also such a thing as nature. There's sometimes we can forgive but not forget.
Of course. Right, right,
You
right,
have
right,
you
right.
have to know, um, not everybody's going to. Americans are very good people. No offense, the
Mhm.
Canadians are also wonderful too,
Right,
and
right,
I
right.
know actually they're super polite. And I've
Yeah,
had fabulous experience with all the Canadian guests that come here.
yeah.
So I'm starting to think not only Orchard Street is a special place, so I'm thinking Canada. Or maybe it's
Right,
so
right.
cold there, you're so grateful to be out for
That's what it is. That's what it is. That's what
that
it is.
gratitude goes a long way. Anyway, so my experience is that, when how we are is what we project on other people. So,
I like that.
it doesn't always pan out, but it's a good way to be.
Listen, I learned a lot. Our guests have learned a lot. It's been a plum pleasing pleasure having you on and an honor.
Thank
You are
you.
so dignified and knowledgeable. It is amazing to have you on.
Wow. Thank you. Maybe I'm gonna ask you for, to give us, a quote on the back of my next book.
Most